Hello, everyone, and you're welcome to another episode of the Intrigued Woman podcast. I'm your host on today's episode, Adeola, and I have with me today two special guests. They are both nurse practitioners with over 10 years of experience in ambulatory clinical management, and they are both co founders of Nutses. So, without much further ado, I would like to welcome my guests and my co-host, Moyo Forel Lua. You're welcome, ladies. How are you doing today?
Good, good, good.
Very well, thank you.
All
Hi,
right.
everyone.
Hello, hey Moya. So I would like to get started by asking you to introduce yourself, what you
Okay.
do, your background, and all that.
All right, so my name is Shile Omolara, and I'm here with my sister, Omolara Goye. And we're both nurse practitioners, like you said. Thank you, Della. We're both nurse practitioners, and we're also moms, and we also started our own business during the pandemic.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Like Sheila said, we're sisters. We love each other very much, if I would add. And yes, we're co founders of Nutses.com and nurse practitioners, as stated.
Wow. We'll get into when how you started the company during the pandemic. But before we get started, I would like to ask this question: how do you redefine yourself as a woman, as a mother, as a sister? Sheila, do you want to go first?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, I mean, the thing is, being a female comes with a lot of expectations. You're expected to be a wife, expected to be a mother, and you also have your career. So you're constantly, so there's no one definition you can call yourself. You're constantly evolving, constantly changing your views. You're trying to adapt to
Hmm.
the daily, and that's one of the major things. As a person, that's I feel like I'm constantly redefining myself in that role.
Constantly redefining yourself in that
Yeah.
role. That is huge. Lara, do you want to say anything to that? You want to add anything?
I mean, Sheila stated it all. As an individual, as you go into your adulthood, you start to wear many roles. You graduate from girl to woman, by being a mom, a worker, a sister, a friend, and all the many hats that you wear. And essentially, that really defines you in every word of the role that you play.
Absolutely. And is there anything called balancing motherhood with your work, with professional work, with your business? You have two businesses, Lara. So is there anything as is there anything like balancing? How do you manage that part of your life?
Personally, for me, I define success as a balance, and success means different things to different people. Some people define success in monetary terms, but for me personally, success is being able to achieve a balance. And I'm not talking perfection, that you have to do everything perfectly. It's in realizing what is priority. So you have to prioritize every aspect of your life and know what's important and focus on first things first. Because if you're giving a lot of attention to things which you should not be giving to, depending on how you define how you define the importance of those things in your life, it creates a problem and it starts to create an imbalance. So it's in really understanding what you want for yourself, how you define your success, how you prioritize it, and essentially that way balancing things out, because you cannot give everything in your life the same amount of time and the same amount of resources. So you have to once again know what's important and prioritize. And in that way, that's how I achieve my balance.
So,
Awesome.
adding to what Lara said, we constantly have this discussion, me and her both, like we're constantly going over what is balance. And the way I see it is, I don't think there is. balance in everything we do. Like, I don't believe in the work-life balance people say, because what I consider balance is someone else may not consider it balance.
Right.
So I personally feel that as a nurse practitioner, as a mom, as a wife, as a sister, as a daughter, all these many roles that I play into, as long as I feel confident in those roles and I'm able to, master each role, grow from each role, that's what my own balance is. I go to work and then you come back from work. When you're at work, you're finding a balance in everything you do. When you're home as a wife, as a mother, you're finding balance in that as well. So my own definition of balance may be completely different from someone else's definition of balance. And like, as a mom, you should be able to find your own balance, what works for you, you know?
Awesome, awesome. Hi everyone, my name is Moyofora. Talking about balance, I like the way Omolara puts, talking about prioritization, and then you as a woman, as a career person, as an entrepreneur. Let's just think for a minute or for a few seconds. When it comes to balance and prioritization, how do you now manage being a mom, being a career person, and being in business at the same time?
Honestly, it's in setting routine and managing time. But honestly, I read this very interesting book, and the author said time management is something you would call a misnomer because you cannot really manage time. Really, what you have to do is you have to manage your activities. You have to do those things that are important. You have to really have a routine for yourself. I say the best way to have a very good day is to plan your day ahead of time, perhaps weeks ahead, because that way it lets you see ahead. And I know it's hard. I know it's really really difficult to try to
Yeah.
anticipate what would even happen in the next 2 hours, but planning gives you such a structure, and it helps you
Mm,
prepare for what's
mm,
coming, and helps you organize your day, organize your time. So for me, that's really how I do it, is in knowing, okay, the next 2 days, I have to do X, Y, and Z. Even at home,
mm.
luckily I have somebody who helps me at home with my children. And so we created a timetable, a food timetable for my kids. So my kids know what they eat Monday morning, Tuesday, so that there is a structure. And in that way, it helps you just prepare and manage. And really, that's how I get along day to day, is in being a very, very avid planner and sticking to that plan as much as I can.
So I would say, so I would say planning, scheduling, more like, and
Yes,
probably having some help.
yes, truthfully, because and this is what we do in our professional lives at work. It's
Mm-hmm,
very
mm-hmm.
rare that you'll see a company who goes day to day without having plans for the next, God knows what, a year. Some companies would tell you, I need your schedule for the whole year, and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing in 6 months. But
Mm.
this is how the world works. Planning helps you organize things. It helps you to put things in place. It helps you to anticipate. It helps you to just, stay prepared and focus, knowing that, okay, this is the task at hand and this is how we're going to get there. Helps you meet objectives and things like that. So planning, is key all day, every day.
So, Shile, how have you been able to, you know, we don't want to talk about balance now because from what you and Omolara said, it's obvious that, you know, having a balanced life is a subjective topic. So, in your own experience, how have you been able to manage the three? I would say three in one: being a mother, being a career woman, and being in business.
Okay. Thanks for that question. And as you can see, even though we're sisters, we totally disagree on some things, which is normal. I personally, like, she's the one that will plan. She wants to plan. She has a timetable for her kids and all that. I don't. I'm
Just like me.
I don't. I mean, I believe I'm more of a very spontaneous person. Not spontaneous in the sense like I like routine. Like I'm a very routine person. Like things I know what is going to happen at certain times. Like okay, the kids are supposed to get up at this time. They get ready for school at this time. I get to do their pack their lunch. I got to be at work. So I kind of have that routine. And for me, just managing that routine day in and day out, but then also knowing that things do happen and, being able to adjust yourself when things do happen. I'm not the kind of person that plans meals in advance or any of that. I do not do that. But I know that I have the staples that I need. And I think
Awesome.
also knowing that I have my husband's support goes a long way for me. Because
Yeah.
honestly, being a wife, being a mom, and being a career person, like I couldn't do any of that without my husband's help. So,
Yeah.
and like she said, she has someone that helps her in the house. And I know, and I think as a mom and as a wife and even a career person, knowing your support systems, relying on your support system. So if you have mothers that are near you that are helping you, if you have sisters, friends, like sisters, like, leaning into your support system, your church, whoever you can trust, because as a person, you can't do it all. And thinking you can do it all, oh no, you're gonna get burnt out. So
Yeah.
knowing that you can, knowing your surroundings and knowing your support system, who you can count on when you really need it, for me goes a long way.
That is so awesome and so true. It's so, I won't, I don't know if I should say it's so unfortunate that most of us right now, we don't really have, that privilege of always having parents
Right.
or very trustworthy people around us, that can always be like a cushion for us when we need them. But it's all good. I guess it's just part of the things we need to learn, so that our kids can also get some experience when it's time for them, because everything is just changing, right? Okay, so let me go to the next question. Yes, we're moms, we're aunties, and all of that. And there are some things we grew up with, more like traits or habits. And sometimes when our kids are throwing some funny moves and all of that, you might remember that maybe I did that while I was little. So looking at yourself now, what traits do you want to see in your children? Maybe more like, what traits do you think, okay, out of all the things I've been while I was growing up or I am right now, you want to see in your children, when they grow up or as they grow up?
Okay. Mola, you want to go or you want
No,
me to
no,
go?
no, you go, it's fine.
Okay. So for me, I think it's the perseverance because, we live in a world where it's crazy. Like it's very things don't always come to you. You have to work for it. You have to get it. So having that perseverance, having that attitude, knowing that yeah, this is this when the tough, when it gets when it well, how did they put it? When it's tough, the
When the
tough
going gets
when the going
tough.
gets tough, the tough gets going pretty much.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to, as kids, they're going to have to deal with school, they're going to deal with college, starting their first job, getting married, all of that stuff, all of those life challenges. And being able to stay focused through it all, like, showing them that, okay, having God in your life, that would definitely guide you. But then also knowing that if you persevere, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what's going on. And just being able to focus and get through that moment in time, I think is a very, very strong trait that anybody should have, and
Awesome. It
trying
is
not to
true.
give up.
Yeah, it is so, so true. It is so, so true. And I believe that should extend to every aspect of our lives. So, that is so great. Omolara, over to you.
I mean, Shirley honestly said it all. The other thing that I would honestly want my child to have most importantly is a very strong mind and to be very strong-willed and also to have a deep spiritual connection because I feel like spirituality is very, very important in for me personally, it's an anchor, and believing very strongly in the power of God and the Spirit of God, and believing that there's a creator out there who's holding me, guiding me, keeping me steadfast, and all of those things has really brought me a long way in my life. So definitely having a strong mind and strong will, and knowing who they are and what they're capable of. And once again, I can't do it without God.
Awesome. Great, great. And straight to the point. I love that. I love that. Adiola?
I've been soaking everything in. I love, love, love this. The way the flow, the interaction, the conversation is going. Absolutely. So let's go to I know Lara mentioned that she mentioned something about prioritization. How do you prioritize as a working mom? What are the proven strategies that you've used or that has been working for you over time? Can you break it down and tell us some of those things that you're doing? Are you using anything like a planner or those kind of jazz? Can you delve in more into proven strategies that have worked for you as a mom, as a wife, as an entrepreneur?
So, once again, it's in having that plan and sticking to it the best you can. I'll be honest and saying, like Shile said, it's not easy. I'm not gonna come here and say like my life is perfect and I do things perfectly all the time. It's far from that. But it's having that plan. So, for instance, I want to wake up early and take care of myself, self-preservation, pray, meditate, do the best that I can. Some days do I skip? Absolutely. Things happen, but to the best of my abilities, I try to keep to that plan. Once I wake up, get my kids ready for the day, take care of my husband, make breakfast, and get to the business of the day, go to work and all of that. If I have it already in my agenda to stop at the store, I'll do that. And just try as much as possible to make the very best of the day. Are there days that I get tired and I wouldn't do the things that I said I would do? Absolutely. But like I said, it's in trying not to put off until tomorrow what you plan to do today, because I've had that experience in my life, when I used to work in a certain kind of job that required a lot of documentation and just required you taking a lot of work home. And I'll find myself just carrying things over day to day, day to day. So it becomes overwhelming. You get burnt out. So that's when I started to learn that in my professional life and in my personal life, I would try not to carry as much over into the next day. So even if it's making sure that my sink is clean, so I start my day fresh, and which is really, God knows, I make sure my sink is clean because we're not starting the next day with dirty dishes, because it only complicates things and just really overwhelms you.
I like what you said about not procrastinating. I think that is a devil in many people's life. We try to, oh, I can do it tomorrow. Oh, I can do it next week. I can do it in 2 weeks' time. Whereas if you do it now, you're aware of the challenges that issue can bring, and you're able to overcome easily. Whereas if you keep procrastinating and keep procrastinating, you never get things done. So I love that about what you said, not procrastinating. Over to you, Shile. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, for one more thing that I feel like is we should learn to take care of ourselves, because it's one proven strategies that I mean, it's one of the proven strategy for me, like knowing when to stop and knowing when to rest. Like, okay, I need to take a walk. I need to just take care of myself. I need to spend an hour with my friend on the phone. Like, just taking care of myself is one of the many things that I feel like would works for me. Like, I don't know about anybody else, but if you don't take care of yourself, how are you gonna take care of your family?
So it's like you're pouring water from an empty tank. There's nothing in there.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
other people will not be blessed, can never be blessed. Even your immediate family, your children, your spouse, they will get angry at some point, because you're not giving them anything and they're wanting
Right,
something from you. So it's
right.
it's key that women, take care of yourself. We spend time with ourselves. Actually, last year, actually in the previous years, years over, I stopped taking care of myself. I never went to do my manicure. I never made my hair. I was just in that, in that dark place.
Mm.
But this year I'm like, no, I'm just going to take care of myself. So I've been
Right.
scheduling,
Right.
yeah, I've been
Right.
scheduling that time to just have that me time, to go to the spa, let them massage my legs. I need them to massage my
I
legs.
agree with you. I agree with you. Like for me, one of the things I really do like to do is go for walks just by myself, not with the kids, not with the husband, just by myself. And when I go, I just like to relax, listen to the sound of the nature, or even talk. I could just call a friend or call my sister, and we'll be on the phone. For me, that relaxes me. So if you can find what makes you, what relaxes you, because at the end of the day, for you to be there for somebody else, you have to be perfect. Like you have to be yourself. Like you have to be whole. So if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of someone else? I mean, I think having that at the back of your mind puts you first. And I feel like once many women start to see that way, that yeah, fine, you're a wife, fine, I'm a mother, but no, that's not the end of my life. Like I have other life, I have other aspirations apart from all this that is expected of me. And knowing when to refocus and balance on yourself, helps you. It goes a long way for most people.
Right. And to add to what Shile just said, it's very, very important. Self-preservation, taking care of yourself. It's the single most important thing that you can do for yourself. When like you said, you can't pour from an empty cup tank, and if you can't give what you don't have. So as mothers, we tend to put ourselves in the back burner. And like you, I had this period in my life where I just completely neglected myself, neglected my self-care. Like I was just giving, and it gets to a point where you will feel it within yourself that perhaps I have nothing else to give. So you always have to remember to have that routine of this is what I do for me to make me better, to make me distress, to make me recuperate, and all of that.
How do you treat yourself? How do you have that me time?
I was gonna ask a question really. Why is it that it should be the women that get worked up a lot when it comes to family, when it comes to career and all of that? Because by the time you try to, okay, we know we cannot reach a balance, but at even at that, we still try to like, okay, push ourselves to make every other person comfortable, and then you are the last person to think about yourself. Because the funny thing is, nobody will think of you or think about you, but you keep going, out of your way to think about the other people. But for me, I think it's something I need to practice, even though I've not been consistent. But it is something, one needs to practice, not only because and I don't think it's been selfish. It's
No,
not been selfish. It's
it's
just understanding how the cycle works.
right,
Because if the truth is, just like both of you had said earlier, if you can't give what you don't have,
right,
and there's no way you keep going, and at some point you will not burn out or break. And at that
right,
point, most of the time, it's not the best, because there are always um after effects. When you wait too long before taking care of yourself and all of that, most of the time there's always an after effect. But I really enjoy the I really enjoy the inputs.
yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. And to add to what you said, like to answer one of your questions, I mean, as a woman, you have a lot of expectations, believe it or not. Like society expects you to be able to basically become a superwoman. That's what society expects. So if you play into that role, sometimes I tell myself, look, I'm not a superwoman, and it's okay to say no. Like everybody's asking something of you, it's okay to say no. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. We're having our Mother's Day program in our church this weekend, and they asked me if I would be willing to do a segment for them just 15 minute segment. And I told them, I'm so no, I cannot. Like I have a lot going on right now. I wish I could, but you see, that's me. Other people are different. They might be able to do that. They enjoy that. But knowing when to stop, I think a lot of time you really need to listen to your inner self, because knowing when to say stop, no, I need a break. It's very important. We're all humans. We're not machines. We're bound to fail one day. Yeah, so
You're so right. You're so right. And I think I don't know, but sometimes in my head I just feel like I think there should probably be like a forum or where that conversation comes up so that the men will understand and know that really it's not. Anyway, let's go to the next question.
so
Absolutely, putting yourself first. It's no brainer for me. I have to put myself first because I know I cannot pour from an empty tank. If you have that mindset, it will it will help you. Because God forbid, if a mother should drop dead, life continues. If the
right.
father should drop dead, life continues. So you have to
Yeah.
always put yourself first. Take care of yourself. If you need to be on a diet and not you're struggling with it and you're unable to take care of yourself, you're unable to take care of the things that pertain to your mental health, it will affect the people around you. So you
Yeah.
still have to take care of yourself. Having that mindset will shift a lot of things in our personal life. So you should adopt that principle. All right, so let's go on. I know we're almost done, but we
Sorry, did
still
he
have
tell you we are sisters? Don't mind her.
Mm, oh, you
we're
can.
sisters.
Oh, that's
Yes, we
fine.
are.
Oh, that's fine.
Awesome. Good to know.
So Omolara, as a working mom, what is one thing that you cannot do without?
Wow, that's a very heavy question. One thing I cannot do without as a working mom is some sort of a support system, be it daycare or I just really need to feel like I need support. Not to feel like I need to have some sort of support, because to say you can do it all is just really trying to punish yourself, to say it plainly. You need help. You need help. We're not designed to do this on our own, especially in this kind of work climate that we find ourselves in. Like Shile said earlier, in this new world, you're expected to be superwoman. You're expected to have that perfect career, that perfect family, that perfect, like, everyone is looking at you and expecting perfection. And so, and as she said, you have to know your limits, and you have to know that this is what I can do, and I will stop here. But, like, going back to your question and not going into 5 million other things, is really support. I need support. I need help. My husband, my mom, and other relatives, my sister, she's always a great support. Me, I know this is not the platform for that, but I have to sing the praise of my sister. Like, she's phenomenal. Like, I can't, like, if I ever come to this world, I would ask for the same sister over and over and over. She champions me. She's always been like that from day one, from when we were little, and she sees me as a friend, not even so much as a sister, and is always looking out for me. So when you have people, like, if I don't call her, she's calling me to make sure I'm doing okay. So when you have that kind of support, people that are there holding you mentally in every aspect, really, that's what you need to keep going. So I love you, Shile.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay. So, Shile, you want to add something? Your own, what is one thing you cannot do without?
My she said exactly the same thing I would have said, because
Okay.
to be honest, I honestly don't know how I would be able to live without my husband. I know it's
Mm.
crazy and it seems like I'm singing his praises, but I have to tell you, living in this country is it's we have different challenges from those that are living in Nigeria. In
Mm.
Nigeria, there's that community. You can get a house up, you have family coming to visit you 24/7. There's always somebody there to help you. But being in this country, our mom lives we don't live with our mom. She lives away. She has her own life. She's doing her own thing. Yeah, and for us, having somebody else to always help you day in and day out, because seriously, how can you function? I mean, with I have 3 kids, so with 3 kids, imagine imagine that. So without my husband's help, I honestly don't know what I'll do. And most of all, like putting God first, like knowing that without God, how are you going to how do you even survive? Like, I don't want to sound like a cliche, like a broken record, but it is really true. Like when like I said, I take care of myself by going for a walks, and there are days I'll go for a walks and I'm just having a conversation with the Lord. Like it's not even a prayer. It's more like, oh God, how do I do this? What do you think about this? Like, what is going on in this world? Why is this happening in this country? Like just having that conversation. I know it's crazy, but having that support system is one thing as a working mom that I could never do without.
Awesome. Awesome. And I think if I can connect it, I would say that God alone is a support system. So it's like your answers, both of your answers are kind of like interconnected, and God Himself, knowing that there is a need for community, there is a need for a support system, He decided to actually create Adam, right? And then after that, He created Eve, right? And on and on it went. All right, let's go to the next question. So, my next question is kind of, will I say, maybe in a way it might be subjective as well, because a lot of people have different views and different opinions when it comes to technology. Even though, like it or leave it, technology has come to stay and it keeps improving. But let me ask you this question. Do you make use of technology to make life easier for yourself, either as a career person or as a business person, or principally as a mom? Do you use technology in any way to make life easier? And you feel free to use examples.
I'll go. Truthfully, it's almost inevitable to live in this world and not utilize technology to some extent. Because, I mean, look, with the COVID, the kids are either in a hybrid setting or fully remote. So, like you said, technology is here to stay. And yes, it does have its cons and, disadvantages. But truthfully, that in many ways, um, the advantages in many ways outweigh that. It provides a level of convenience and ease and, this instant gratification, for the lack of a better word, that you wouldn't have been able to get even if it was just like a decade or a decade and a half ago. So it's in knowing to use it to your advantage and for good, and also for your children's good, making sure that when they're connected to the internet, that they're on the proper sites and you're monitoring them and you're
Yeah,
watching that.
safety,
But yes,
security.
yeah, the security and all of that. So, technology, it's here to stay. It's here to give us a good level of convenience. Yes, it
Yeah,
does have its evils like everything else, but I'm a big proponent of technology any day.
awesome. Shile?
So, in addition to what Lara said, she said most of the advantages of technology, which I totally agree with. It's here to stay, whether we like it or not. I mean, without technology, how do you think we would have dealt with the COVID? Like, people were isolated, if not for the technology. Like, I didn't see my mom for months, but I could do video call. Like, I didn't see my sister for months, too, but I could do video call. So, I mean, it's here to stay. We have to enjoy the positives of it, but then we should also guard against the negatives of it. Like, we have to keep it in mind that, okay, this is good, this is a good thing. Like, I can connect with friends all over the world. I can call friends in Nigeria, in the UK, like all over the world. But you remember that, okay, even though this is good, there's also the evil side of it, and keeping that in mind and trying not to go to the dark web is one thing. It's one thing to have like a Zoom party, connect with friends, all that stuff. Like, I mean, we're talking about technology right now, but then it's another thing to go to the dark web with all these crazy conspiracy theories and all things like that. So knowing where to draw the boundary, I think most normal people are able to know that point that, okay, I've had enough of this. Let me do something else, you know? Yeah.
So basically, it's about knowing when to stop, having the limits, you
Yes.
know, yeah, setting boundaries and all of that. Even though you did not give me examples, but I'm sure you have multiple. I'm sure you have multiple, um, apps and softwares and all of that that you use.
I use
That is
WhatsApp all the
awesome.
time. I have my friend in Canada. If I want to reach out to them, it's through WhatsApp. The ones in UK, the ones in Nigeria, you know. And then also with a lot of news site on my phone, so it's good. But then knowing when to stop, like, okay, I think I've had enough for today. Let me do something
Awesome.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great, great. So it's been a great conversation all the while. During your introduction, Adiola actually mentioned that both of you are co-owners of a new company that got started in the COVID period or during the heat of, the pandemic, which to me I think is outstanding, and it just shows that both of you are resilient, and I think that is great. And we'll talk about the company a little bit, Nazis. So I had the name from my sister the first time. I'm like, Nazis. Even though I had an idea, yeah, nuts. But can you explain to us, why Nazis? Why did you pick that niche for your business and the name?
Mara, you want to take that?
Yes, sure. So, Nazis, like the history of Nazis is really interesting, and I'll be very truthful about how Nazis all started. Sheila and I were together and we are just talking about peanuts and, the benefits of peanuts. And, we've been wanting to start a business for a long time. And we're like, oh, like seriously, jokingly, like, let's do this. Let's go ahead into selling peanuts. But most importantly, going to that subject of self-preservation and really taking care of yourself and eating good food, we felt like, okay, let's take this seriously. As nurse practitioners, people in the health space, we understand the impact of poor diet on the body. And it's important that people really understand this, that, over the years of eating not very good food over time compounds and you will see the effects at some point. So we decided to start with a one product item. So Nuts is our brand. We're starting with peanuts, groundnut, Nigerian organic groundnuts, and we just wanted to test the market to see how that would work for us. And thank God it has actually worked very well, and it's still working very well. We thank God. But we're looking to expand into including other health foods and other products that we know that are beneficial to the body, that are nutrient packed. And it's just not eating for the sake of eating, because sometimes we forget that we're not just eating because we want to satisfy our hunger, but we also need to eat to provide nutrients to our body so we can stay healthy and functional. So that really is the direction where we're taking our company, is in reminding ourselves the mission of this company is in providing people with good healthy food. So the peanut is just the beginning of it, but yeah, we're looking to include other products in the future. Sheila, you want to add anything else?
Yeah, so I love groundnuts. And during the pandemic, I honestly could not find a good one. And I'm like, wait a minute, why am I looking for? And in addition to that, I spoke with a friend of mine, and we came up with this idea that, why are you looking for one? Why can't you just start your own? And pitched it to my sister, and we just got in it. So I really thank God for it, because honestly, there were days I'm like, I'm done. Why am I even doing this? I don't want to do this anymore. And she's like, no, no. Larry's like, no, no, no. We're going to get through this. We're going to do this. I mean, there are days I want to pull out her hair, like, she's driving me crazy. But then, it's just the love we have for each other. We're able to get through whatever is going on. So it's been a fun venture. Like, it's been really fun. I remember talking to our dad at one point, and it's like, you know what? I'm really happy for you both, because I know you guys get each other. You guys are very close. So you guys doing this together is really good. So, and I thought that was very, very refreshing to hear.
Right. And just to add to what Sheila has said, it's not like the journey has been very smooth. There are many times where we both felt like, you know what, this is really pointless. Like, we're not doing this anymore. But there's an acronym that, we use. It's called FAIL. It's called it's first attempt in learning. So the F is first, A attempt, I in learning. So when you fail at something, that doesn't mean that you have to stop. It means that you have to probably try again or study why you failed and do something better. And the truth of the matter is, in life, most people rarely do anything right on the first try. You learn by doing. So the more you do something, you keep learning. I mean, we've had losses in certain areas where, oh, perhaps maybe we shouldn't have done this way, but we wouldn't have learned that if we didn't do it at all. So I would encourage people that when you're doing something, when you start a venture, don't give up on the first try or even perhaps on the second try. Give it perhaps maybe a third try. And at that point, if you feel like, okay, this is absolutely not for me, you can let it go. But always remember that most people never get things right. Like, even when you're learning to drive a car, you don't get it right the first time. You have to keep going. And the word no means next opportunity. I read that somewhere. So if you hear many no's, or you go to someone, they say no, it's okay. You go to the next, like, okay, Sheila, let me tell them the story of when we went to pitch our product to like African stores to carry our product. So the first person that we went to gave us a big no.
Like
We
a
were like,
flat
no.
out no.
We're like, no, no. So that is meant to us. Okay, next opportunity, let's go to the second one and the third one and the fourth one. And we were surprised by we went by the second person that we went to was very happy to carry our product, and the third person was very happy to carry our product, and we found some other people that love the product and things like that. So when you fail, it's not the end. And when people tell you no, it's really not the end. You have to keep going. And at some point, you'll see your success and you'll see your yes.
Oh, and also, well, I was like one of our first customers too.
Right. Yes. I apologize. I want to thank you for your support. Um,
Yeah.
it means a lot to us. Yes.
Great, great, great. That was an interesting story. And you've actually covered the next question I probably would have asked you. But I'll still go ahead and ask you because maybe you might just have another answer to provide or to give me. So while you were talking, Shile, you said you were looking for nuts or peanuts, during COVID, and your friend asked you, why ain't you making it yourself or something like that? And
Mhm.
then at that point, or when you started giving it a thought, why was it your sister that came first to mind? If at all you wanted to start the business, was it why your sister, or was it your sister that came first to mind, to join you in starting the company?
No, well, before that, we talked about it. But when you talk about something, it's different from doing something. So I spoke with her about it. I spoke with another friend about it, and then the last friend I spoke with was like, you guys can really do this, and I was like, okay, let's go ahead, let's do this. So it's something, it's something I thought about, and something Lara and I spoke about for some time. That what do we like that we can purchase? Because and that, to answer your question, one thing about doing a business is you can't do a business you don't like if you don't like the products you're pitching, I don't know how you're going to be successful in that business. So knowing what you like, and knowing, because once you like that product or once you enjoy that business, you're willing to go above and beyond to put all that effort into that business, no matter
Awesome.
what the first try is.
More like a
And so
passion. Mm-hmm.
exactly, exactly. And you'll find out that a lot of people that have started business over the years, it's something they actually truly enjoy doing. It was like a little side hustle, and then it
Mm-hmm.
really became a big thing. So
Yeah.
for us, that was one thing that, we're like, oh, we really like this. Why don't we just, expand into it pretty much?
I have another question. And by the way, the peanuts tasted, I actually use them to soak Gary. For people
I
who are
still
listening,
do.
for people who are listening, I'm a peanut addict. When I get peanuts from Nigeria, I can finish a bottle in. My husband also likes peanuts, so we can finish the bottle in less than, okay, let me say 1 week.
I
You know
agree
the
with
big
you.
bottle. So
Mhm.
I love peanuts. I love peanuts. So when I heard that you're starting, I'm like, okay, bam, bam, bam. Let me get the peanuts. And they tasted divine. I love them. They were crunchy and they were premium. The packaging was absolutely, absolutely amazing. I
I
love
was
the
actually gonna
colors.
ask them if they had a pack on here with them, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
okay. Don't worry. We can always, post it on our social media platform at some other time. But the peanut, the branding, the colors, the website, everything was perfect and I loved it. Okay, let me go to
before you go, sorry, I just want to give I just want to put Lara on the spot. I have to say she was the brain behind the packaging, and honestly, she drove me nuts with it, but she was the brain behind it. And don't forget, she has an MBA degree, so without that, she really put all her all into it, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Shile. Thank you.
reason. So let's talk about your other company, Omolara. Admond, what does Admond do? What is Admond all about?
So, like Sheila said, you when you sell a product, you have to love it. I just love jewelry. I love, love, love beautiful jewelry. I feel like they elevate your look. They can take you from like a 1 to a 10, depending on what you're wearing. So I've always had this entrepreneurial spirit and felt like, and that's part of the reasons why I got my MBA, is really to understand the basics of how to run a business, because ultimately, even in the work that we do in our professional lives, most of them, if many of them are businesses. Even if they're in the public space, they're there to be profitable and viable somehow, to stay alive. So understanding the basics of business and how business runs and financial languages and things like that was part of what drove me to get my MBA. So starting Hadman for me was me testing the waters on my abilities in what I can do, and perhaps channel it into something else. But Hadman is a business that I have come to love, and will continue to build over time.
You've been able to merge Admond with Nazis and being a mother, being a professional. How have you been able to do all this? You must
Like,
be a superwoman, even though we're saying there's nothing like superwoman, but I think you're a superwoman.
no, I'm not. I'm really not. Like I said, I prioritize. I put first things first. And like I said earlier, everything in your life cannot have the same amount of time and resources all the time. Some things will get more things than others. So any day, my family comes first. My family comes first. My finances come first, and everything else wraps around that. So, starting this business with my sister, yes, I have my own side business, but I also see the power and the mission behind Nutsies, which is really sending out that message of eating good food and being healthy and putting good food in your body. So that is one that, once again, if I had to rank it in my level of prioritization, it means a lot to me. Not to say my Hadman business doesn't, but I assign things categories, and right now it's not on the highest scale. And so that is really truly how I live my life. And I'm not just saying it here because I want to say it. And that's the way I balance things out, because I can't try to do Hadman 100% and do Nuts 100% and be a mom and be a full-time. It's just not practical. So that's how I get it done.
I had the other ladies back on the screen, and then we'll take the last few questions and we'll be ready to go.
Interesting discussion, ladies. Thank you so much for coming on here today. So I have a question. I know that yes, it might have been a bit tight, starting off during that period when you did, but I would still like to know what lessons were learned? What nuggets do you think you want to share with maybe new startup mompreneurs? That's one word we call, right? Mompreneurs. What, what advice, what lessons learned, um, wisdom nuggets that you like to share. And then in closing, just one word for every mother out there. We know it's Mother's Day weekend, so just one word or one statement that you would like to share. Thank you.
Okay, sure. I'll go. So what I would say is that uh, you never give up. You never give up on yourself. I know it sounds cliche. Never give up, never give up. But it's true. Yes, life is hard, whichever way you slice it. Adulthood is hard, whichever way you slice it. So you never give up. All you have to do is keep trying your best. As a business person, you have to be a visionaire. You have to see ahead. So like I said earlier, when you're starting out on something, you're not an expert. You're not going to know everything right away. You're going to have some falls. You're going to have to take some losses here and there, but that helps you grow. That helps you do better. And you keep going and you keep going. Nothing was. And going back to that whole idea of now that we're in this world of everything being so instant, the reality is life is not that instant. So having a successful business, and sometimes you see some people, they'll be like, oh, I made 100 million and God knows what, that's their story. But life is a process. And even a business, the growth of a business is a process. And you have to remember that. But the most important thing is having the vision for that business that, okay, in the next, which is what my sister and I, we discuss constantly that, okay, this is the vision for this business. In X, Y, and Z number of years, this is where we see it. This is where we see ourselves. Because not having a vision, honestly, is like being a sailor in the sea without a compass. You don't know where you're going. You're just going. So you have to have a vision that, okay, this is where I want to be. And then you plan towards that and work your very hardest towards that. It's just like being a student, being an undergrad student, in the next 4 years, this is the plan, this is the coursework, this is how I get there, and then I graduate. Same thing, you have to apply that in your business, you have to apply that in your life, you have to envision and know that yes, there will be bumps in the road. Life is not straight, it's not linear, nothing is, it's up and down, but the most important thing is that you keep going and you keep the momentum alive, you believe in yourself, and always, of course, trust in God.
Okay, and
Amazing. Shile, over to you.
in addition to what Lara said, I think every mompreneurs or everybody hoping to start a business is getting started. We all have this idea that, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this. If you actually do not start, you will never get going. So take that first step. It might be, let me just research what to do. Like reaching out to mentors, reaching out to people that have done it and having them tell you how you did it so you can get started. But just having it in your head and not doing anything about it, it's only going to sit in your head for as long as you want to. So take a piece of paper, write it down like, okay, this is what I want to do. How do I get started? Where do I get the resources from? I mean, who do I reach out to? And knowing those support system and relying on those support system. And like she said, having the vision, but you actually not doing anything at all is worse than just thinking about it. And one word I'll
Mm,
give all
mm.
moms is, take it easy. It's hard, but take it easy. Life is life. Just take it one day at a time. I mean, maybe that's just my own mantra of life. Like everybody knows me, I don't stress, I don't do anything, I take it easy. So take it easy.
I,
Enjoy
I, I
enjoy
would
your
tell you
life.
my sister is that person. And I think that's why we get along so well because my brain is like going 5 million miles per hour and I'm thinking about what's happening in the next 100 years. And she's like, you know what, you really just need to chill and go to bed. So she's really that kind of person. She's very centered. She takes things easy and, and when you see Shile, she's very well grounded. And I think that helps. Her knowing her and being so close to her reminds me of being that to be that way sometimes. And yes, I would definitely encourage every mom, take it easy, and everything would be okay eventually.
Awesome, awesome. Take it easy. I think there's a song. I just can't. No, I'm trying to remember the song, but I'm sure there's a song that says "Take it easy."
I'm pretty sure.
Anyway, so nice chatting with you all. And nice to meet you. It's been amazing talking with you, spending close to an hour already chatting with you. Does fly, but if time permits, we probably will bring you back some other time. But thank you all so much for joining, Adeola.
All right. Oh my goodness. I can't believe we spent almost 1 hour chatting. It's been refreshing seeing you guys, seeing you ladies, sorry. Omolara and Shile, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of the Intrigued Woman podcast. And I hope you all have been inspired, you've been uplifted, you've been motivated to start that business this Mother's Day weekend. Get started. Get started and take the first step and don't think about too much. Don't stress yourself. Don't stress when you're thinking about the intrigue woman. Just remember this conversation we had with Shile. Shile is centered. She's centered, and that is one thing I'm taking away from today's episode. So have a happy Mother's Day and see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank
Bye
you. Thanks
bye.
for
Thank
having
you.
Bye.
us.